Hello, this will be a simple video showing basic video editing workflow in DaVinci Resolve. After downloading, installing and opening software, you'll be welcomed with a window that looks somewhat like this. Here in the bottom right corner, you can create a new project and name it, or you can simply double click on this one, whatever grind your gears. After creating a new project, you will see a window like this. Simply go here to the Edit tab, open this one. And for starters, know that here in this tab you can change your keyboard customization, and here in the workspace tab you can turn on the dual screen setup. After turning it on, I also recommend, this is a personal preference, checking the full screen timeline. Then your primary screen looks like this, and in this moment I will put a picture of my second monitor. How does it look like there? But for this video I will be using a single screen setup. Another basic thing here, I have many of these helper tabs open. I can close all of these by clicking these buttons, and now we can also have this double, I don't know, screen setup. I think the one of these has something to do with the preview, but I, to be honest, never use this one. If you want to turn it off, you can go here and okay, now I will open the media pool, effects, and inspector once again. Other useful tip, here on the timeline you can see a timeline starting time. If you don't like that it starts with 1, then you can go here into the options, preferences, user, editing, and here change the start time code to 0. You will have it on 1 at default. It still didn't change, but it will automatically change when we put videos in it. So now to start, I've prepared 2 videos, 1 sound effect and 1 image to work with. You can drag and drop it either here when you get this pop-up window. I also didn't see any options between choosing either change or don't change. I think that a rule of thumb is that you have many clips with the same frame rate, then you can pick change. Now our assets showed here. You can also add them here in this tab. It doesn't matter. Let's go back to editing tab. Also a reminder, if you're just starting, to go here into the file tab, project settings, and remember about changing this to any of the desired if you need to. Now I will play you 2 videos that I've prepared to show you what we'll be working with. Now to start editing our stuff, I will expand this video a little bit, drag and drop my first video, turn on the full extent zoom, and zoom out even further. To have a different view here, you can change it here. I prefer the thumb one. I will also drag and drop a second video. This timeline block here corresponds to this video editing area. Now I will turn on stopping here, move the clip to connect them, and play video to use so that you can see what we'll be working with. This will be a very quick video about me drawing a perfect straight line with only one stroke in paint. This is a very simple video and well, this is a very simple video where I will draw a perfect. This is a very simple video where I will draw a perfectly straight line with one stroke. Okay, so now the video has ended, and I think that I know what I want to do with this. So the part here was me trying to talk, but failing miserably. I think that I want to start my video in this place. I will use the blade edit mode by pressing B, and here is important part. If I will move my mouse, then the blade cut will make cut automatically where I'm pointing at. But while pointing at the playhead, it will try to snap to this playhead. So I'll press here, and the cut was made here on the playhead. Let me zoom a little bit in with the use of Alt and mouse scroll. I can also use this slider here, and I can see this a little bit too much for a start of a video, so I'll try to move it a little bit closer, but it's too short. I will zoom in more. I'll move it backwards, and now I will once again make a blade cut, and then again snapping to the playhead. Okay, now I will use the selection mode by pressing A on my keyboard, deleting this part with delete, and for example deleting this part with a backspace, but it didn't move with the backspace. So I'll press here again and delete either with the backspace or the delete. Now we have a video start made. Let me zoom out with the use of the keyboard shortcut. What else can I do here? I can see that I have only audio moving here on the audio track 1 and nothing on the other ones. I can either right click on the track and delete track or delete empty tracks. So let's for example delete this one, delete this one. Now I don't want to delete both of these, so I will unlink these clips. Press only on this one. This is the important part. If you will press delete here, then look what happens with the video clip. It also moves. So now in a situation like this, I will left click this one and use a backspace on it. Now I also have these two. Let's say that I don't want the rest of this empty track. Let's unlink it using the keyboard shortcut B. Make a cut here. Now keyboard shortcut A. Remove this one with backspace. What do we have now? This is a very simple video where I will draw a perfectly straight line with one stroke. I think that I want to make a little bit of the fun of the person recording this video. I will zoom in a little bit with the use of keyboard shortcut, but now I will want to use the additional assets that I've prepared here. I can also do it by dragging it to the timeline. So let's find the perfect place where something goes wrong. Okay, let's enlarge this a little bit, and now I can see that the video text is badly seen here. I will smallen this one a little bit, move this here by targeting the space between video and audio tracks, and also let's make this one a little bit smaller too. I would say that this is a pixel perfect place, and I will put some funny sound in here. I will drag this sad violin sound here. Let's see how does it sound now. Okay, it sounds alright placement wise, but I want this to be longer. I don't have a longer clip, and I also can't left click it and lengthen it because it's a audio track. So I can either get a longer track outside of the editor, or I can copy this. I will do it by holding Alt and dragging it to the right. I can also simply Ctrl C and press and Ctrl V, but this one may paste it in a weird place. But we can also move the playhead like this and paste now, and it will paste on the playhead. But revert changes. Let's see how it looks. Not bad, but I don't like the connection here. Let's turn off the grid snapping and maybe make them overlap a little bit. Let's see how it goes. Okay, it sounds not bad. Now I think that this is decent, but let's try to distort a little bit the place of the cut between the clips. Let's go here to the effects tab, go into the audio transitions. I will here pick a crossfade -3 decibels. Pick whatever you want, experiment with this a little bit, and if you find a one that is your favorite and you will want to use it often, then I recommend right clicking this one and setting this as a standard transition. Okay, I will just drag and drop this one here on the audio track. Okay, it's not allowing me to drop this one. It's because there's no transition between clips. Let me enlarge a little bit and scroll in. Now using the control scroll, move on the timeline track. You can also do it with clicking here. Here it won't work. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit more. And now you can see that there were no audio frames here. So let's delete this one to touch this small white starters of the audio track. Like this one, delete it, touch, and now we should be able to crossfade. Yes, we can crossfade both of these. We can also modify length of this. Okay, let's zoom out. Let's see how it will sound. This is not such a huge difference here, but it's noticeable in the video cuts. Now the sad violin music is not enough. I will also want funny text on the video. Let's go here into the effects tab, into the effects, no, into the titles. Here pick a text, drag and drop this wherever you want. Left click on it, and also expand this a little bit so that we can see. Okay, left click on, and you can see that there is a basic title. You don't see it because the plate head is before the text, and also because the font is white. Okay, let's check this one to the black. Now we can see that. Okay, I will modify this a little bit, like this maybe, or maybe even like this. Let's look how it looks like. Okay, not bad, but look now. The text disappeared while music was still playing. I want to expand this a little bit so that it automatically matches the music, and as you can probably see, it automatically snaps to the music. If I turn the grid snap off, it won't be so easy. So turn it back on again. Okay, now I think that the music was a little bit too loud. Let's link these clips. Go here in the inspector tab, and here just left click on the volume and drag it a little bit left. As you could have probably seen, the height of the audio tracks here changed, signalizing the change of the volume. You can also mess with the other options here in the inspector. Okay, let's see how it looks like. Okay, I don't think that I like the position of the text. Let's go into the inspector here once again and change from the title tab to the settings tab. And here, let's say that I want to using the same principles as with the audio. I want text to be higher, so I will left click on the Y on the position row. Okay, maybe like this, and a little bit more to the left. Or no, maybe here. Here would be perfect. Okay, let's see how it looks like. And if even this is not enough for you, then I've prepared a funny emoji to add to this one. I think that I will add it on our second loop of the sad violin. I will drag and drop this here, and snap to the second track. Important thing to know here, as you can probably see, the emoji image is overshadowing the text. If you can change it, if you want to change it, then drag the text above the emoji. Okay, but I want it like this. I want the emoji to be smaller. The position seems cool, so I will leave it like this. But I want it to show gradually instead of just showing like this. I will zoom a little bit in. As you can see, I am moving between the objects with my keyboard up and down arrows, and it automatically stops. So going back. Here I will make it end with the second music. This is alright. Let's check if this one is. This one is also great. But now let's make it show gradually. Okay, I clicked on the object in the timeline. I go here into the opacity and I will drag it to the 0. As you can see, it disappeared. Now I have to keyframe this setting by clicking this little diamond here. And let's say that this is the right space when the emoji should be fully visible. So I drag here to the max. And as you can see, it automatically keyframed itself. Now, very important part, you can move between these keyframes by pressing this small arrow here. As you can see, it will automatically move to the other keyframe. This is important because if we drag the playhead, you can see it changing gradually, and if you were to change something in between, it will automatically keyframe itself. Okay, so let's go to the max now. You can also keyframe like this every other option here. So you can make it become bigger, change position. And you can also modify these by going here and pressing on this line. It will show a graph for changing these keyframes. Here we have the opacity, so this one from 0 to 100. But I prefer doing it using this window here and this little arrows. Okay, let's close this one. Let's see how it looks. Okay, I don't like this long waiting after the emoji disappeared. So I will go to the right, go back here, press B again. It will automatically cut on the playhead. And let's see where we want to be next. Okay, let's expand this a little bit so that I can see little pictures here. Okay, we want to be somewhere here to show something. We'll start with the line a little bit drawn. Okay, I will make a cut here. Remove two of these. Okay, move the playhead a little bit. Now pay attention that the change of the video clips when the playhead will be here will be easily noticeable here. Okay, look. You see? This was a very sudden change. We don't really want that always, at least. So let's this time go here to the video transitions. You have multiple video transitions here. Experiment a little bit, pick whatever you want. When you find your favorite one, then I also recommend right clicking on it and setting it as standard. So let's say I want to grab a blur dissolve. I will grab this one here. Let's maybe zoom a little bit. Okay, make it a little bit shorter. And now see how does it look like. On the other hand, make it longer that you can see it. You see there was a transition. It didn't change here the thinking emoji, so maybe also add it there. Okay. Okay, like this. Let's look. Okay, you see the emoji also moved now. And remember when I said to set it as a standard when you like it, if we have it as a standard, you can do it like this. by right clicking on the linking of the place where two clips meet. We can simply add a, let's say, 30 frames of cross dissolve, and it will automatically here add your standard video transitions. And if you also have two audio clips connecting and also a link, it will automatically add your audio transitions. Let's, I think, solve the last problem. Okay, the last video clip that we have. The drawing is a little bit too slow. I'll move it back and turn on the video by pressing pay attention to this place. I will play it at a 2 times speed. Okay. At 2 times speed, it seems much better. And I will also cut out the end of the video. I don't want it. I use the shortcuts, of course. And now let's click on this video, and I want to make it faster. I can go here in the expector. I can also do it here in the change clip speed, but it's faster to do it here. Here find the speed change, and if something is, and this is also important information, if something is looking like this, then you can left click it to expand it. It wasn't obvious for me when I pressed find out about that. Now, if we were to click this clip, we could change the speed percent. You can either drag left and right like before, or you can just put a value, let's say 2 times speed. I accepted this one, and it's make my video faster, so make it shorter. What's obvious? Let's see how it looks like. Okay, maybe even make it even faster. Okay. Okay, this is perfect for me. There is one more thing that I want to say about speeding up. Let's say that I want to speed up this part. It doesn't matter what happens there. If I do the same thing and set this 2 times, as you can see here, maybe look once again, focus on this place here. I changed this one to the 2 times speed, but the clip on the timeline didn't become shorter. What does it mean? Let's look. As you can see, the clip looped itself. To fix this one, then while speeding up, check on the ripple timeline. This time the clip got shorter properly. Other useful thing with the picture here, you can do something like this. Go into the cropping, and here you can change the softness by decreasing it. You change how does it look on the borders. It's not really noticeable here, but it's really noticeable if you put some rectangle windows or whatever on it. And also you can press this arrow here to reset. Other cool things here in the effects, you can go to the generators. Here you can grab something like solid color. You can put it as a background like this. But you can also go into the cropping, increase the cropping like this, and you have a simple rectangle. Again, doing softness. Here it's much more noticeable. And remember, then you can put it behind as a background like this. I think that the last thing in this tab, this is also a little trick. Okay, let's remove this one. In the titles, you can grab a text. It's a white text, so let me change it real quick. Okay, I made it simple like this. Now we can scroll down, and here you can change the background color. Let's say green. An outline color, let's say blue. But nothing have changed. This is because we have to also modify this And pay attention that you have height set to 0. Now you have both a fill color and a border color. And the cool trick is that you can now set opacity to 0. And now that you have a really simple border that you can mess with. And of course also move this one here in the settings. Okay, you have also other tabs here. I've never used this one. I've used this one only for dragging assets here, but you can do it here, so I'm just doing this here now. Fusion tab, it's supposedly great, but to be honest, I've also didn't use it. It's probably a little bit more advanced. And here is a color tab. I've used it first time recently for a very simple thing, simple color manipulation. You can either press here on these things, or here are your tracks. As you can see small texts here. Let's say I want to grab my emoji thing. Okay, disappeared because I had opacity set. Let's move our playhead a little bit farther. Okay, okay, and now here you can make a simple color manipulation by moving this. So for example, I can do this, I can do this, I can make it more blue, etc, etc. Okay, this is an audio tab. I didn't use it also, but you can record your voice here and add it from inside DaVinci so that you won't have to make it in another software. And here is the final deliver tab, I think it's called. Here you can browse where you want to save your finished project. Okay, let's say that this is my path, this is my file name. Here you can also set some settings, but you don't have to. Simply press here add to render queue. And here you will have to press render all, and it will show up where you've saved it. And this is the final product that we've made. This is a very simple video where I will draw a perfectly straight line with one stroke. Now I will probably put a segment about shortcuts of DaVinci to explain some basic key usage. Now the few things that I am using. Also take note that our timeline here starts from 0, not from 1 like before. You can change settings per timeline by right clicking on it and going into the timeline settings here. Now a few things that I am using and I think that you also should be using. This tool here, selection mode, lets you click on things and move it. You should probably also turn on the snapping so that we can easily connect this instead of messing like this and deleting some of the important stuff. This is a blade edit mode that lets us cut clips. And now I have to go back to the selection mode and I can move it. Now I will revert my actions by doing Ctrl Z shortcut 2 times. You can also go other way by clicking, I think the default shortcut is Ctrl Shift Z. I am using Ctrl Y. I change this in the shortcuts like this. Now it will come naturally for you, but the selection mode shortcut on keyboard is A, and the blade edit mode shortcut is B, which I will be using from now on, like this. I'm pressing B, I'm clicking A, and I can drag once again 2 times, go back. Next important thing, clicking here is not convenient for work. You can do the same thing by holding Alt on your keyboard and moving your mouse wheel like this. Another thing, after zooming too much, you can move left and right, either by dragging this head like this, or but, and this is important, holding Control and moving your mouse wheel. Now let's zoom out a little bit. Important part. You can also move your playhead bar just clicking, but you can't click here on the timeline. You have to click here. This is also a little bit confusing if you've just started working with it. You can also use left and right arrow keys. As you can see here, the time changes. You can also use, look here, you can use left and right arrow keys to move by 1 second. While holding shift, you can move by bigger amount, and by pressing up and down arrow, you can move per object like this. So for example, if I were to put this image here, then I'll move to the start of this image, and only then further by pressing the up and down arrows on keyboard. Okay, let me revert adding the image. If you're working on too small of a screen, then it may get crampy here. You can also control proportions of this window by doing this, but you have to target the space between the video and audio tracks. You can of course also move this like this. Now the last two things, you can either select multiple clips by holding left mouse. You can select everything to the right by pressing Alt and Y, and everything to the left by pressing Ctrl Alt and Y. I don't know if this is a bug, but here it fixed everything. But if you do something like this, then it works correctly. And the last thing, you can play a clip with pressing space button, and also you can play clips at various speeds using keyboard controls. So look at this space here. By pressing L, I can play at multiple speeds. By pressing J, I can play backwards, and by pressing K, I can stop. I don't want this empty space between my video clips. I can either drag and drop this one, and it doesn't fit nicely because I don't have a snapping turned on, so I can turn on snapping, or I can just click here, and now we have two ways of deleting things on timeline. You can press backspace, or we can press delete, and everything is fine if you're doing it like this. But there is a very important difference between this. For example, let's say that I want to delete this just created clip between both of these. Then if I use a backspace, then the second clip will just stay. And if I use delete, it will automatically move. I can also click on things, and then if I will hold Alt, then I will copy this. Next thing, I have these things moving together. If I want to separate them, I have to right click on this and uncheck the link clips. Now I can move them separately. One more important thing, if you have made some kind of an outro or intro or whatever, and if you want to save it, use it in the future, you can right click on the timeline here, go to the timelines and export as the first option, save it wherever you want. I will save it as an outro. Now you can drag it, drop it in your media pool, but beware because the DaVinci will automatically set to this timeline that we've just imported. You can see it by this red marker. So double click on your previous timeline, and now we can drag and drop the one that we've imported here, and it will keep all the changes that you've made to it, like positions, zooms, etc. etc. This will be the end of this video. Bye.